Hello everyone, I am an old storyteller from an old tea house. Here is today's story.
I moved to Taman Melati, a new housing estate in Kuala Lumpur, my heart pounding with hope for a fresh start. I was 26, my freelance graphic design career barely earning me enough to cover a tiny flat, its walls bare but full of promise. Freelancing brought irregular work schedules, so I booked Grab rides to zip through the town. My first driver, Asman, a middle-aged fellow with a gentle voice, picked me up in a neat sedan. He chatted with me about his family, smiling warmly, and put me at ease. I tipped him through the app, grateful for the nice ride. My second trip was him again, his face recognizable, asking about my new project. I explained a little to him, enjoying his curiosity, though his gaze lingered in the rear view. He took a quiet Kampung road, saying it was faster, but the diversion continued for a long while. I checked my Grab app, which hovered, my stomach turning. I brushed it aside, blaming poor signal, and thanked him, getting out into wet night air. My neighbor, Farah, made light of my late arrivals, joking about Grab's reliability. I smiled, but Asman's next ride did not sit right with me. He knew my client's name unsolicited. I scowled, my fingers poised above my phone, tension seeping in. On that evening, I heard the engine of a car idling outside, but darkness filled my window. Asman took me for a second ride, his queries more piercing. Did I stay alone? What were my working hours? My responses remained ambiguous, my heart racing as he smiled for too long. My sketchbook, which lay inside my bag, had a ripped page following his ride, torn like a threat. I double-checked my locks, my flat heavy with silence. Farah informed me of a Grab car parked outside at dawn, her brow furrowed. I complained to Grab about Asman, my voice steady, but they said his record was clean, needing evidence. My phone did not work during the ride the next time, maps blank, his radio crackling softly. He whistled a lullaby, haunting in the dark, and I gripped my bag, counting streets. At my drop-off point, my scarf was missing, its loss annoying me. I searched online, reading on forums about Asman's past. A suspension of license, mysterious reference to troubled conduct. My chest tightened. I couldn't pay for taxis or moving, Grab my only way of getting around. I told Farah, who advised me to carry pepper spray with me, her concern genuine. That night, a text from an unknown number beeped, "You're special, Priya." I blocked him, hands shaking, sleep lost to fear. I awoke to the sound of a gentle knock at my door, the peephole empty, heart racing. My rides with Asman were frequent, too frequent, his sedan always present on Grab's platform. He spoke of his daughter who went missing years ago, voice cracking, eyes on me. I nodded, pity and fear mixing, his eyes too heavy. My laptop documents, client logos, were in disarray after a ride, as if being opened. I changed my passwords, my throat dry, suspecting his reach. Farah spotted him cruising around our block, his car moving slowly, headlights off. I called Grab again, my tone firm, but they shunned me, invoking his ratings. My pepper spray was my shadow, its weight reassuring. One night his car lingered outside, engine purring, and I hid behind curtains, shallow breathing. I browsed deeper online, coming across a blog that wrote of Asmin's grief, his daughter's accident, his fall. He considered passengers replacements. The post warned, my skin crawling. I experimented with him, skipping a ride, and my app crashed, booking him despite it. He drove in silence, his lullaby louder, my fingers holding my spray. I reported him to the police and met Officer Lim, who demanded proof, his sigh stifling. I slept restlessly, planning to set him up, my fear transforming into determination. I booked Asmin on purpose, feigning a large client project, my tablet recorder in my bag. He picked me up, his smile tense, sensing my shift.
"You're safe with me,"
He whispered, his voice soft but with a bite. I nodded, heart racing, asking him for shortcuts to keep him talking. He turned off Jalan Ipoh by the neon signs into a black palm estate, trees looming above. My app went dead, his dashboard light, leaving us alone. I spoke of his daughter, prodding, and his hands clamped tight on the wheel.
"You're like her."
He mumbled, locking the doors, my breath hitching. I saw a gate up ahead, rusted, leading deeper into darkness. He confessed, his voice rough, wanting to
"Guard."
me forever. I fumbled my tablet's stylus, my hand wet with sweat. He slowed down in front of the gate, his eyes full, looking at me. I jammed the stylus into the lock, snapping it open, my heart thundering. He grabbed my wrist, his grip desperate, screaming my name. I sprayed pepper, his shriek loud, and ran, live streaming to Grab's emergency hotline. I ran through palms, arms grasping my clothes, tablet feed loose but worn live. Asmin chased, limping, his screams fading as I took refuge in cover. My breathing was seared, but I kept streaming, hoping Grab noticed. Headlights scoured the neighborhood, police, tipped by my feed, sirens a lifeline. Officer Lim overpowered Grab, sedan parked nearby, door open. I stepped out of cover, spewing for air, handing Lim my tablet, its proof clear. They searched his car, finding photographs of me, other women duct-taped under seats. My stomach turned. How many had he surveilled? Asmin cried, calling me his daughter, his mind shattered. Lim found records of his suspension for stalking never brought to trial. Grab froze his account, their apology official, promising audits. I gave my statement, my voice strong, detailing his paths, his words. Farah hugged me, her relief warm, my anchor. Police pursued his victims, some my clients saving others. I testified afterwards, facing Asmin, his eyes hollow, my gaze unwavering. Asmin was incarcerated, his case sparking grab reforms, my evidence pivotal. I sold my apartment, moving near my studio where buses passed frequently. My designs were bolder, clients praising their bite, my fear rechanneled. Farah arrived, her stories lighter, my laughter authentic again. I biked to jobs, legs hardened, grab offline. Officer Lim told me, smiling proudly, his arrest's courtesy of my tip-off. I watched Asmin go on trial, beg for remorse, but feel none. Tormented by the old locks at my apartment were now gone, replaced by new ones closing with a comforting solidity. I volunteered with the Women's Self-Defense Unit, sharing my story, voice steady. Grab gave me a refund, of no use against my welts, but I parted with it. My nights were still, no engines outside, sleep deeper. I prospered, drawing hard lines, my trust cautious but mine again. Asmin's shadow lingered, a warning sign, but I had conquered, my life back to me.
I moved to Fairview, a new suburban town in Quezon City, my chest inflated with pride at my own place. I was 28 and my call center job brought home just enough to pay for rent, but night shift saw jeepneys as my cheapest transport. I squeezed into one, benches packed, Eddie the driver yelling out prices. He was loud, joking about traffic, his wide mouth snapping. I threw money into his tent, the jeepney's diesel smell thick. My first ride was short, his teasing easing my journey. Eddie was constantly picking me up, Fairview routes off limits, his face familiar. He teased my headset, nicknaming me Tech Boy. My laugh polite. One night he dropped me short of my destination, splashing through a flooded road, cursing shortcuts. I grumbled, my voice drowned by horns, but shrugged. My phone drained fast in his jeepney, app sluggish, weird for a new model. I got home late, my lanyard lost, its clip later glinting in his dashboard. My coworker, Anna, warned against drivers cheating passengers, her face serious. I brushed it off, in need of jeepneys to keep me going on my tight budget. That night I heard metal scrape against my gate, but nothing was there, my heart uneasy. Eddie's rides turned hostile. He crashed hard, jolting us, his jokes bitter when I paid grudgingly. My wallet wasn't as full after a ride, pesos gone, scowl on my face. He requested the time of my workday, address of my apartment, too casual a tone. I answered short, my knots in my stomach when he sneered. Anna saw him roughly manhandling a peddler near the job, menacing snarl to his tone. I saw my gate open, hinges warped after a late trip. I told my barangay captain, Mang Tony, who waved, with promises of patrols. Eddie's jeepney blared music loudly next trip, quieting complaint, his eyes on me in the rear view. My headset cable was cut, left on his seat, deliberate. I lodged a complaint to the LTFRB, stern in tone, but they wanted proof, files slow. My phone photos, self-portraits of work were emailed to me out of the blue. I changed my locks, wet palms, Fairview's noise no comfort. Anna wanted me to ride, but jeepneys were my lifeline. I woke up hearing tires crunching outside, my nerves on edge. Mang Tony spotted Eddie sneaking around, his motive flimsy, my fear proven. I could not help but avoid Eddie. Jeepneys ran one route, his the loudest. He overcharged me, his prices inflated, glaring when I haggled. My bag strap tore after a ride as though yanked. Anna heard of a scam, drivers extorting for
Protection.
Eddie's name mentioned. I checked my gate and there were fresh dents, heart pounding. I reported to police, encountering Officer Cruz who grunted, demanding evidence. My phone charger sparkled in his jeepney, Eddie cackling menacingly. I hooked a terrible recorder in my pocket, its hum my shield. It captured him threatening a rider, voice low, threatening. Trouble. I kept it, my breathing constricted, plotting evidence. Eddie bragged of side deals. His hand on a bat glancing at me. I saw him shoving a kid for short fare, my rage building. I grilled him mid-trip, my voice firm, asking why he skipped stops. You're too soft. He taunted, accelerating, my grip tauter. I laid a trap, my fear now fire, jeepneys no longer his domain. I boarded Eddie's jeepney, feigning owing money to a coworker, my recorder capturing. He grinned, swallowing the hook, his bat hammering the pavement. "Oh, money, huh?" He asked, voice oily, face inches from mine. I nodded, proposing change at home, my heart thudding. He drove into Fairview, into an empty lot, jeepney rattling. My phone died, his radio dead, the air heavy with quiet. I asked him where we were, stalling, my voice firm. Pay up. He growled, screeching to a halt, two goons stepping out of the darkness. I saw his bat, his racket clear, money or agony. I gripped a wrench, hidden in my bag, my heart thumping. He locked the jeepney gate, gripping me, goons encircling. I hurled a mock wallet, its coins clinking, Eddie diving. I smashed his headlight with my wrench, glass shattering, and kicked the gate wide open. A goon grabbed my arm, but I swung, hitting his shin, breaking free. I ran to a barangay post, shouting for help, my recorder still rolling. The Tanod emerged, chasing Eddie's henchmen who ran, one caught. I shook, extending Officer Cruz my recorder, its evidence incriminating. Cops scoured the lot, cuffing Eddie, his profanities loud. I recited it all: fines, intimidation, the bat, my voice authoritative. Cruz searched his jeepney, producing piles of cash, vendor receipts, racket evidence. My stomach churned. How many paid his price? Eddie growled, calling me a snitch. His reign ended. Cruz trailed his crew, neighborhood thugs shaking down beats, my tape the clue. The LTFRB excluded Eddie, their letter firm, promised checks. I made a declaration recounting his stops, my hands firm. Anna cheered me, her hug tight my rock. Mang Tony repaired my gait, his gruff pride showing. Police arrested his goons, freeing vendors, my stand branching out. I testified later on, facing Eddie, his sneer lost, my eyes unforgiving. The lot raid found extorted products, Fairview safer because of it. Eddie was off to prison, his scam stripped, my fight sparking route patrols. I changed near work where jeepneys weren't my only transport. My calls went smoother, clients kinder, my ruggedness shining. Anna shared lunch, her laughs bright, my ease regained. I cycled shifts, my wheels fast, jeepneys discretionary. Crews gave me a nod, talking of arrests, my tape essential. I heard about Eddie's trial, his plea shaky, my anger spent. My new flat's metal gate, my old one rust. I got a commuters group together, safer fares crusaded, voice heard clear. The LTFRB sent out a fine, useless against my wounds, so I gave it away. My nights were quiet, no tire in sight, slept sound. I thrived, worked long shifts, trust cautiously but my own. Eddie's bat was still remembered threat, but I won my life back.
I settled into Batumbang, a quiet neighborhood of new homes fringed by rice fields, my heart set on a fresh chapter. At 30, teaching English paid my rent, but Cambodia's dusty roads pushed me to book tuk-tuks via PassApp. My first ride was with Vuthi, a wiry driver whose nod was curt, his tuk-tuk's engine rattling loud. He drove silently through twilight, the wind chill of the open cart on my skin. I tipped him, grateful through the app for the brief ride. My evening classes at the community center ended late, so Vuthi's tuk-tuk was a usual. He spoke little, eyes fixed ahead, but I sensed watched. At one ride, he stopped at a roadside shrine, muttering about ghosts, his hands occupied with incense. I wrote it off as custom, but my backpack zipper had been left open thereafter, pen gone. I checked my bag twice at home, my discomfort slight but building. My student's mother, Saka, warned me off prowling drivers, her tone sharp. Vuthi drove me once more, the tuk-tuk lurching, his mirror on me. I shifted, my lesson plans clutched, his silence heavy. Evening, I heard a motor running outside my door, too near to be tolerated. I gazed through slats, no one in sight, my chest pounding. Rides with Vuthi were becoming odd. Dirt paths through mango tree groves, shortcuts, tuk-tuk canopy snapping in the wind. My phone disconnected halfway to his place, PassApp vacant, his sidelong glance sending chills. I demanded to know why we stopped at yet another shrine, voice firm, but he just growled. My notebook, safe in my bag, had a ripped page following his ride, as though someone had rummaged through. I locked my doors, the thin walls of the house causing every creak to sound exaggerated. Saka informed me of robberies in town, observing my tuk-tuk practice with caution. I complained to PassApp against Vuthi, my fingers firm, but they praised his ratings, asking for proof. My flashlight went missing next ride, its loss bothering me. I'm hearing about the rumble of his tuk-tuk at midnight, cruising down my street, headlights off. I cautioned C.H. Hay, my landlord, who frowned, swearing to remain vigilant. My water bottle was funky. After a ride, bitter, churning my stomach. I researched online, finding tales of drivers scouting homes, my stomach writhing. Vuthi's next ride was uneventful, but a coin, an old heavy, was still in my bag, unwelcome. I gripped it, fearing a marker my sleep interrupted. CHA noticed a tuk-tuk lingering, Vuthi's figure unmistakable, his warning insistent. I could not avoid Vuthi. PASAP would not let me assign him. Tuk-tuk's the sole way I had of getting to class. His gaze trailed after my bag, his voice rough, asking for payment. I lied that I earned paltry wages, my throat tight. My house key came loose after a ride, as if changed. Sokka spoke softly of tuk-tuk smugglers, my own terror mirroring hers. I checked my lock, noting scratch marks, shiny and deliberate. I called the police, talking to Officer Rith, who shrugged, demanding action in the physical realm. My sandals, which I left outside, were moved to my porch, cold-bloodedly terrorizing me. Vuthi's tuk-tuk loitered in the vicinity again, its engine threatening. I placed a low-cost camera close to my door, its lens documenting shadows in the night. It showed Vuthi outside my gate, his eyes sly. I indicated the clip, palms sweating, building a case. I discovered smuggling rings, drivers indicating houses for raids, my fear confirmed. I lay awake nights, plotting to ensnare him, my fear concentrated to action. PASAP rejected my second complaint, Vuthi's profile clean, pressuring me into action. I rented Vuthi's tuk-tuk, feigning a hefty tutoring fee, my camera hidden in my backpack. He arrived, his nod swift, the cart's engine spluttering.
Good pay tonight.
He asked, voice questioning, eyes sharp. I smiled, hinting at money, my heart racing. He veered off the main road, through fields into a dark mango grove, dust swirling. My phone froze, the tuk-tuk frame shuddering, trapping me in open space. I gripped my flashlight, its bulk my shield, watching him.
Need an offering.
He grunted, creeping around trees, another man surfacing. I glimpsed a flash, wire cutters in Vuthi's grasp, his intent clear. I asked the grove, stalling, my voice even. He smiled, saying I'd be quiet, his partner moving forward. I flashed my light, blinding Vuthi, his curse cutting. I leaped off the tuk-tuk, running through the trees, camera rolling. The partner chased, but I dodged back and forth, panting. I waved my light, spotting a monk on a bicycle, his call for help cutting through the night. I yelled to the monk, voice raw, calling police. He rode hard, yelling up ahead, while I ducked behind a trunk, Vuthi's footsteps fading. My camera poured out to CHA, sent ahead of my dying battery, proof alive. Police roared in, their flashlights cutting the grove, pinning Vuthi. Officer Rith cuffed him, the other partner arrested on the side, both fuming. I came out, presenting Rith with my camera, its clip guilty. They raided Vuthi's tuk-tuk, finding coins, tools, wallets stolen, tags for raids. I nauseated, I'd carried his tag by mistake. Vuthi swore about soft targets, his greed unmoved, no remorse. Rith drew around his ring, tuk-tuk thieves off the streets local, my evidence key. PASAP suspended Vuthi, their letter brusque, threatening checks. I gave statement detailing his roots, strong tone. Sokka hugged me, her gratitude warm rock for me. CHA fixed my lock, his rough touch centering me. Police detained Vuthy's crew, salvaging homes, my clip going viral among educators. Vuthy was imprisoned, his ring taken away, my stand fueling market patrols. I sold my house, moving near the center where bicycles were enough. My classes became colorful, students bolder, my fear now grit. Sokka served tea, her tales lighter, my smile authentic. I rode to school, the tuk-tuk's hum removed, my legs free. Rith nodded to me, discussing arrests, my recommendation firm. I heard about Vuthy's trial, his response bland, my sympathy spent. My old walls on my home disappeared, my new walls strong. I enrolled in a tutor co-op, pressing for night buses, voice sharp. PASAP sent a voucher, worthless to counteract against my injuries, but I transferred it. My nights were still, no engines near, rest sound. I thrived, teaching fierce truths, my trust cautious but mine. Vuthy's coin sat in a drawer, a warning. But I'd won, my life reclaimed.